can even get to God.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Austin from Dragon Ball Duo, and today I'm going to be telling you my review of episode 21 of Dragon Ball Super, and trying to go in depth and telling you every single detail that I was able to scratch out at the bottom of this episode. I watched it twice, went and got pictures and looked through it to make sure that I really got all the information needed for this episode, because this episode really did provide a lot of changes from the Resurrection of F movie that I wasn't expecting to see. At least, I was expecting to see this, but not all packed into this episode at one time, if y'all can kind of catch what I'm saying. But real quick, we're going to throw into a plot synopsis, kind of telling y'all what's going down from start to finish of this episode. Try to wrap it up quickly, but still providing a lot of detail. But enough monologuing, let's go ahead and get into this. So the episode starts off, and Goku and Vegeta are punching each other a little bit, but that doesn't last very long, because we quickly fade back into the Z Fighters, going down to D-Day, the spot where Frieza is about to be landing his ship and the army is going to be pouring out. You see Krillin giving Master Roshi a little piggyback ride, doing some doggy style on their way over to the ship. It lands, thousands of soldiers start flying out, and you get a good, nice conversation between the Z Fighters, Gohan, and Gohan explains that Goten and Trunks were in daycare or something, that he explains why they weren't there. And then he also explains why Boo wasn't there, and I don't think they explained this in Resurrection of F, which I never actually noticed when watching the movie that Boo wasn't there, because, I don't know, it's hard for me to remember that Boo was like a good guy and he's still alive, because, I mean, that was only at the very end of Z. Excuse me. So they explain that Boo's asleep, and that he can't be shaken or tickled or anything to wake up. Bulma lands down on the ship with the Galactic Patrolman dude, and you start to see a little conversation between Frieza and the soldiers, and then Frieza notices Krillin, and he says, "Oh, I remember that I killed you," and then you go into a little bit of a throwback scene with Frieza killing Krillin off, and they used the original animation from Z, so they didn't remake it like they did for the Dragon Ball thing a couple episodes back, which I really wish they did kind of reanimate it, but it's such a cool scene in the original Z that one's kind of passable. But in the future, instead of them re-showing information, like stuff we already in the old animation style, I want to see them revamp it and make it look really nice and cool. Frieza goes on to say that, "I remember killing you, and you got resurrected just as I did, and if I have to kill you every single day, you get revived, I will do that." So this episode does a really good job. I'll go more into this whenever we get into the good, bad, interesting. This episode shows Frieza as a lot more evil than in Resurrection of F, and I know because of time constraints they weren't able to do a lot of talking, but it definitely made Frieza seem a lot more savage and a lot more evil, as I said. So they send out the troops, everyone starts powering up, and for a little while, the first half of this episode fighting is quite boring. It's just basic punches and kicks, and you're wondering why they don't just wipe them all out with like one attack, because these people are thousands of times, millions of times stronger than all of these soldiers. But I guess they are kind of rusty when it comes to fighting, besides Tien and Piccolo. And then you start to notice Krillin getting... Actually, before this, Tagoma kind of gets, I don't know, he tries to rally up his troops and telling them, like, hey, you need to start fighting better, coordinate your attacks, and Frieza looks at him like, yo, what are you doing? This is my army, you don't know what you're talking about, and flicks him in the head, and he flies way away. Then you start to notice Krillin doubting himself, because he hasn't been fighting in a long time, and he's facing the person that murdered him years ago, and that was the most recent time Krillin's died, because he's died 3 times now, canonly, and he starts getting super scared, and Frieza notices this, and Frieza says to his army, any of you, the first one that kills Krillin gets their favorite planet, they get to own it, basically. So the troops, they get rallied up, they get fired up, and they start circling Krillin. And the other Z fighters notice this too, and they're like, Krillin, pay attention, fight, blah blah blah. And then that hits the second half of the episode. And I mean, you know how in a story you hear of a Freytag's pyramid, you hit the climax and the whole thing just elevates and like the plot shifts? That's kind of how I feel when I saw the title card halfway through this episode, because that showed a complete change in the way the episode was flowing, and everything past this part was like awesome and not boring at all. You go back to Goku and Vegeta, and they had just finished a training session, and they're exhausted. Like Goku can't even stand up, and Whis and Beerus are talking to them. Beerus asks them, "Hey, you want to challenge me now?" And Goku tells him straight up, like, "I am not strong enough to fight you or beat you right now." And then because of this, and because they've been loud and obnoxious lately, Beerus says to Whis, "Show them the place, the planet, and take them there." And we don't know what this planet is, but obviously Whis knows that it's something rather dangerous and rather important, because he's kind of slow to accept it, but I mean, it's Lord Beerus, he has to do what he says. So with a move of his wand, the thing glows, and then a portal opens, which sucks Goku and Vegeta into that hole. I'll get more about that later on in the review. Now, you're back to the fight, and the people are crowding around Krillin again. He's still doubting himself, but when that first punch was thrown to Krillin, Krillin dodges it. And he's like, "Whoa, how did I do this?" And then Master Roshi goes on to tell him, he's like, "Listen up, bud. You have seen all of these great battles, and you have gotten a lot stronger. These people that are around you right now are nothing compared to the people you have fought in the past, or even who you are right now." And he tells him, like, "You are a student of Master Roshi. You can do this." And Krillin's like, "Okay." And everyone just starts beating the crap out of everyone. Krillin shoots this energy beam, kills like 12 people at once. Well, I don't think he actually kills them or incapacitates them, but whatever. You see a really nice throwback Kamehameha from Master Roshi, and everyone gets lighted up there. And then Master Roshi kind of shrinks back down to his original size, which I guess was just kind of a gag, but I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be able to power back up in the next episode. You see a really nice tri-beam cannon from... You see Jocko kill one dude. Sashimi is ordered to go out there and fight because he has said that Sashimi is the most powerful member of Frieza's army right now. And he goes out there, and Gohan decides to be the one to fight him, and completely skips the part about Piccolo fighting him from Dragon Ball Fugatsu no F. So, congratulations, Quaman. You don't get to see your big green machine getting his ass beat again. So, Sashimi grabs Gohan and starts trying to squeeze him to break his spine. And Gohan just kind of stands there, and this is one of my favorite parts of the episode. Gohan, just with his eyes open, with like this very cold stare, just tells Sashimi, like, "I have a family, and I'm not going to let you destroy them." And he just keeps standing there, letting him squeeze, and Sashimi doesn't understand why Gohan's not breaking. And then, right before Gohan has a chance, like, right before Gohan is about to break out of Sashimi's arms, a energy beam hits him in the back, and then Sashimi dies. The camera turns, and you see that it was Dagoma who fired the beam, and then when Sashimi falls down, you notice that it also went straight through Gohan's chest, killing him, presumably. Dagoma goes on to explain how it was the only opportunity they had to kill the most valuable, the most powerful fighter there, and Frieza notices this, and Frieza is like, you kind of see it in his eyes, like, "Hey, this kid's getting somewhere." And then Piccolo, using an energy beam, reassess Gohan, brings him back to life, essentially, because, I mean, honestly, like, even if he died, they just revive him in, like, a year or so. So, actually, a year would be a really big deal if Gohan actually died. Anyways, Dagoma goes on to explain that he was Frieza's training partner whenever Frieza was training for 4 months, and you get to see the environment where Frieza was training. Unfortunately, you don't actually get to see any training, but at least this is more than we got in Fugatsu no F, and hopefully there'll be even more flashbacks back to then whenever Frieza goes on to explain his new form to Goku and Vegeta, and we'll get more into that later. So that's a nice look at the environment. They go on to say that Frieza would basically beat the crap out of him every single day. He would go into one of those regeneration tubes, get healed back up, and then he'd get the crap beat out of him again. And he explains to Frieza, "Hey, I'll go kill these guys if you make me commander in your army." And Frieza says, okay, and I'll give you a planet as well. He starts walking up, and then he's getting scouted for his power level, and it is said that he is stronger than the Ginyu Force. And I don't know if they meant Captain Ginyu or the whole Force combined. That was a little bit weird, but this is like a sub, an unofficial sub, so you never really know. And then when he powers up, this catches the attention of Goten and Trunks, which instantly got me extremely fired up whenever I saw them. And then they flew off to go see the fight, which means they are going to be in this for sure, being like an actual threat, and we'll get more into that once you see the sneak peek for the next episode. So he goes over there, you get a little look at Frog Ginyu, and that's about it. The episode ends right there. And then you get a little bit of a peek into the next episode, which we'll get into later. Now for the good, the bad, and the interesting. For me, my favorite parts of the episode are the parts including Gohan being squeezed and explaining how he has a family to protect. That was really cool. The monologue between Master Roshi and Krillin was really nice as well, because it kind of it told everyone like, hey, you've come so far. That was really nice. Super happy to see where Frieza was training, because I had been wondering that since we watched Fukatsu no F, and it seemed to be a dark place. It looked a lot like hell, because that's what I thought it was when I first saw it. It looked like hell from the filler in Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, that's where he was training. I thought it was really, really, really awesome that Goten and Trunks are coming back. And if you look at one of these sneak peeks, you'll notice that you see Gotenks hitting him right in the gut, so that means that they are going to be fighting Tagoma, and that's going to be really, really cool. I like the fact that Tagoma is a lot more sinister, and he's kind of he started at first really hating Frieza, but now they're pretty close, and he's starting to admire like the kind of person Frieza is, and that's what makes him powerful. Well, not actually, Frieza's just powerful because Frieza's powerful, but the reason he's such a strong leader is because he's so evil and so scary. I really like seeing the Kamehamehas and Tri-Beams. Tri-Beams are my favorite attack, so it's always good to see those, because you don't always see them. You always see Goku and Vegeta lately, but now you get to... This episode really did focus on a lot of the other Z fighters, and it wasn't just Goku and Vegeta like a lot of people thought Dragon Ball Super could possibly be. But this shows that they really did... I mean, they were only in probably 2 minutes worth of video in this entire episode. The whole rest of it was just Z fighters and Frieza, which is awesome. Like that's where I want to see the series going. I want to see all these other characters progress. I want to see Goten and Trunks finally age later on in the series and become more than like 4-year-olds is basically what they look like. Going into the bad, the only bad I can really think of is the whole first half of the episode with the fighting and stuff, and while Krillin was being like scared, it just dragged on way too long, and it just seemed slow, and the whole time I was wondering, why won't these people just like fight and kill them or whatever, you know what I mean? And then later on it goes on to show that they can, and they explain to themselves like, hey, we can do this, and then that kind of made up for the bad, so it's not necessarily a huge negative because they kind of retconned it later on in the episode. And then on to the interesting. One thing I really, really want to focus on right here is this place that they're going to be sending Goku and Vegeta. Now, when I saw Goku and Vegeta training in this episode, I was worried that at this point they had already learned Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And I was like, no, we're just going to have them come to Earth, they're going to transform, and we're not going to get like a definitive first transformation. But with this portal, with this place they're going to, and with this one shot from the what's it called? The sneak peek to the next episode, we're able to see that something is going to happen in this new place, and I believe that is where they're going to unlock Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And we're finally going to be able to get to see a full explanation on the form's name, which I think is Super Saiyan Blue, if you go by the manga, which I haven't read yet, so some of this may already be explained, but my point of view is I haven't read any of the Dragon Ball Super manga yet, so I'm super excited about that. I thought it was really interesting that the whole Tagoma thing, obviously, but we've already been talking that for a while, so Oh, also, the Frieza planet thing, that was a very interesting detail. The next episode's going to have Ginyu, so he's going to be brought back somehow. I'm still going with the whole frog dude idea that he's going to be resurrected that way. And then I'm starting to I don't know who's actually going to fight Ginyu, and I have a feeling, originally I thought it was going to be Gotenks that was going to fight Ginyu, but now seeing this picture of Gotenks fighting Tagoma, I'm kind of feeling that Ginyu is actually going to be jealous and zealous of Frieza's new army, and these people are trying to like take his position away. So I think he's actually going to be the one to kill off Tagoma. That's what I feel, and Ginyu's going to try to bring back his previous glory in Frieza's eyes. You know, he wants to get that respect built back and doesn't want to be a frog anymore. So that's my little headcanon. Thank you guys for watching. That's all I really have to say for this episode. It was a really pretty solid episode. I'm super excited for the next one when Ginyu gets brought back and we get to see a lot of fighting with Tagoma, which all of this in this next episode, it seems to be stuff that we haven't seen yet in Dragon Ball Z Fugatsu no F. Because, one, you get this new planet, you get Tagoma being alive in this sense, and Ginyu's coming back to life. Next episode is going to be a really, really good one, and I have a feeling the fans of the series making reviews as well are going to say that in their episode reviews next week, along with me. So I'll catch you all guys later. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like if you can, and I'll catch you later.